The hidden price of numbing yourself. What's the greatest violation of human worth? For some, it's enslavement and exploitation, treating people like property, denying their dignity. For others, it's betrayal and deception, the breaking of trust, the lie that corrodes relationships, or corrupt systems that deceive entire societies. These are more than just wrongs. They reveal something deeper, the cost of lost morality. Because when right and wrong collapse, the bill always comes due, and it's paid in dignity, in trust, in human lives. That's why moral relativism, the idea that morality is never absolute, always shifting, is so dangerous. At first it feels liberating. Do what you want. Live your truth. But that so-called freedom often becomes the very chain that enslaves you. I'm going to reach into a topic that's the elephant in the room. Something everyone has an opinion about, but few know how to address. Cannabis, weed, marijuana, ganja. And let me be clear. This concept goes far deeper than just this substance or this topic. Because what we see in cannabis is a mirror of how our culture lies to itself. Because here's the truth. You can't stop people from doing what they want to do, but you can create an environment of goodness, one that lifts people higher instead of dragging them lower. Yet cannabis doesn't do that. People convince themselves it makes them more creative. Some say it makes them more social. Others claim it makes them more relaxed, more insightful, even more spiritual at times. But the truth is, cannabis rarely gives you any of that. It convinces you you're brilliant when you're completely incoherent. It convinces you you're deep when you're lost in a fog. It convinces you you're connecting when you're actually withdrawing. And beneath it all lies something darker. Cannabis isn't just a drug of illusion, it's a jealousy drug. It stirs envy, it fuels victimization, it keeps people comparing, resenting, numbing. History proves it. Oppressed groups and indentured servants were encouraged to consume it, not because it empowered them, but because it dulled them, kept them manageable, out of their own power. This is how relativism plays out in real life. It's fine. It's my choice. No harm done. But the harm is real. The cost of numbing yourself is always your worth, your growth, and most importantly, your power. Because the core reasoning behind this desire to disconnect is rooted in a deep denial of your own worth. So how do different worldviews deal with this cost? The nihilist says, nothing matters. Enslavement, just domination. Betrayal, just self-interest. Cannabis, just chemicals. Nothing has meaning, so everything can be discarded, including you. The cost here is obvious. If nothing has value, then neither do you. The relativist says, it depends. Enslavement is wrong unless culture justifies it. Betrayal is wrong unless lying keeps the peace. Cannabis is fine when it's legal and wrong when it's not. Relativism bends with context. It feels freeing until you realize there's no line left at all. The cost here confusion, chaos, and the erosion of trust. And then there is the absolutist. They say morality is fixed. Enslavement is always wrong because dignity is non-negotiable. Betrayal is always wrong because truth and trust are sacred. Cannabis is wrong if it clouds the mind and keeps you from your highest expression. Absolutism brings clarity, stability, and direction, but without humility it can turn rigid. Law without grace, and the cost here is harshness without any kind of compassion. This isn't just philosophy, it's identity. When we cling to labels and illusions, we fracture ourselves. And when we fracture ourselves, we fracture how we treat others. Because here's the danger. If someone believes human value is negotiable, then your value is negotiable too. And when meaning collapses, revenge begins to take place. Without an anchor, every wound feels like an attack on your existence. Power, manipulation, and payback become the only morality left. But revenge always comes at a cost. It doesn't restore dignity, it deepens the wound. It spreads meaninglessness until everyone is enslaved to bitterness. But we weren't created for this. We were made to reflect source, to embody grace, to carry light, to build instead of destroy. Strength without cruelty, correction without condemnation, truth without erasing dignity. This message isn't just about cannabis, although I chose to use cannabis because it's something that everyone is aware of and has an idea or a framework in order to model this concept on a grander level. It's about the higher calling we all must consider. Before we accept what culture tells us is right or wrong, truth or lie, because if we don't look higher, beyond personal preference, beyond cultural slogans, and beyond temporary trends, we'll end up enslaved to the very illusions we thought would set us free. So who is it, really, who defines right and wrong? Well, the nihilist says, no one. The relativist says, it depends. The absolutist says, it's already written. And beyond them all is source, the higher truth that anchors us. And here's the hope. Your brain is not fixed. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire and regenerate itself, means change is always possible. When you stop clinging to the illusions of identity, when you release the lies that keep you small, your mind itself begins to heal. That's the hidden price of numbing yourself. It costs you your worth, your clarity, and your growth. But the moment you stop paying that price, the healing begins. Which voice will you trust to shape your mind, your worth, and your life?